right. It's that time again.
It's another week.
Oh, man. Hey, right side is the Bears one.
Yeah, that is true. They did win. That's good.
Yep. They beat the Rams.
I mean,
Whatever.
that's still something.
It's something.
I'm not going to talk about the other team.
Yeah, don't. You're bound to just flip through Twitter and see him again anyway.
I mean, I have to have Twitter open for this podcast. I should. The problem is because I also talk about football on there right now. My Twitter feed is consumed with people being very angry about the Saints.
Oof.
Yeah. And now the Aces too, because the Aces also lost.
Oh,
But you know who is not going to be losing today?
who's that?
The listener, because they are going to listen to one of the greatest podcasts of all time on this episode of Off the Top Rope.
Oh, yeah. And this episode, we're talking about that New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And some good old TNA Impact action.
Ooh. But y'all know what you got to do first. If they're not doing it already, y'all make sure you follow the Twitter at TAGPW podcast. You get to hear all of our hot takes. You get to hear all of our cold takes. That account is also following my Twitter, which is very depressing right now. So if you want to see that and laugh, you can do that too. But first, you should for sure be following the podcast channel on Twitter. Again, TAGPW podcast.
Ooh, and you know what else you got to do?
What else they got to do?
They got to go and get up on that top rope. You know I'm going to ask you every week.
Mm-hmm.
Take one of them elbow pads off. Note, I'll only say one elbow pad. Get on that top rope. I need you to jump off and drop an elbow on that subscribe button. It helps us out. And, it'll help you get all of our content as we bring it out. And also, once you get back up, drop another elbow and hit that like button. It'll tell us that you like our videos and, that you like our content and want to hear more of it. And also, comment. We like interacting with you guys. So if you comment, we'll interact with you and also probably, bring up some of the topics on the show. So, further ado, let's get to New Japan.
Ooh. All right. Oh, you tricked me. All right. So for New Japan, this is Destruction in Kobe. This is a pay-per-view level, pay-per-view quality match card. 9 matches, 5 title matches. We are gonna start at the very top. I'm not gonna break down these first few matches too much because it's all just kind of people jockeying for position and stuff like that. The first match is Tiger Mask, Tomoaki Honma, and Yuji Nagata, who is celebrating a 40-year wrestling anniversary next week, by the way.
Wow.
Congratulations, Yuji Nagata. He's still got it. He's still wrestling like a lunatic. Those 3 old people are against Dragon Dia, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Shota Umino.
Okay.
We don't have to talk about this match too much because not really a lot happened in there. The team of the youngsters and Ryusuke Taguchi won. Shota is on the first match of the card. That's probably not a great place for him right now, considering he wants to be the ace. Not really great. This might be setting up for Super Junior Tag League because Dragon Dia and Taguchi, they could make a run in the Super Junior Tag League next month. We will see what happens there. But overall, like I said, nothing too crazy. Very easy warm-up match. It was like 10 minutes. You have anything for these before I move on?
It's kind of crazy seeing Tiger Mask back in there, but yeah, no, that's cool.
Bro, diverticulitis, he came back strong. He's wrestling as good as he ever has. He's fun to watch.
Yeah. Tiger Mask is always fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Now we're gonna start getting to some actual story in these matches. Now,
Okay.
the next match is Lij, which is Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, and Yota Tsuji versus United Empire, which is Francesco Akira, Callum Newman, and Jeff Cobb. Very fun match, very good. There's like a lot of beef kind of in this match right now between Tsuji and Jeff Cobb. We've talked about them a little bit before. Tsuji and Cobb had that match for the New Japan TV Championship that went to a 15-minute time limit. So they're still kind of jockeying for a position. There was another person who came in, but he is quote unquote injured. We will actually be talking about him a little bit later tonight. Not really. That wasn't fun. Hiromu ended up winning for the team of Lij. Afterwards, Yota Tsuji and Jeff Cobb kind of got into each other's faces. Jeff Cobb is looking like he wants to challenge again. So he wants Tsuji to challenge for his title again. We don't know when that's going to happen. Maybe soon. They didn't really give us any dates. We do have another pay-per-view card coming in 2 weeks. So it's possible we can get that there. But really, this was just Tsuji and Cobb kind of throwing bows at each other for like 10 minutes.
Nice.
Anything on this one?
Of course, Kamen Rider will win, but yeah.
I just saw that clip actually, like yesterday, I think.
Yeah, he's a legit Kamen Rider now.
He did his time bomb on the dude, and it looks like nasty in the show. And then he's still sitting there smiling while doing his transformation. Hiromu.
Yep. Like, if there's any person in there fitting of being like something outlandish and crazy like a Kamen Rider, yeah, it's definitely him.
Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, backstage, I'm not gonna talk about too much of backstage comments because I don't know all of them. They don't come out in English until like later tonight.
Yeah.
Hiromu challenged Mystico for the card in a couple weeks for King of Pro Wrestling in Japan.
Ooh. Ooh.
We don't know if it's gonna happen yet because I don't know if anyone knows about New Japan, but sometimes these wrestlers just be talking in their backstage stuff, and some of the stuff just doesn't happen. But this was very deliberate, so I'm hoping we can see Mystico and Hiromu in a couple weeks. That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Next up, we had a special singles match, which actually ended up being 2 matches. It was Hiroki Goto of Chaos versus Gabe Kidd. Story here is Gabe Kidd is very upset at Goto because he thinks Goto injured his tag team partner. So there's like this whole kerfuffle. Gabe Kidd actually jumped in before the match started, and they ended up like within a couple minutes it ended up being like a 20 count draw while they were just beating the shit out of each other on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe Kidd takes the mic. He's like, no, we're not doing that. He said, fuck that. And, it's New Japan, so he's actually saying fuck that. Restart the match, no DQ. And the crowd goes crazy, like, oh, we understand no DQ. So, they restart the match. It was not really, like, it was no DQ, but no one really used anything. The match ended. Hiroki Goto won. Mm-hmm. So he beat Gabe Kidd, and I'm guessing Finlay is probably not going to be happy about that. Finlay is the leader of Bullet Club War Dogs. He's probably not happy with that because he basically sicked Gabe Kidd onto Goto to like weaken him for his match a little bit later. But yeah, that's it. Anything here?
No. Wait, why would he be mad though? Because if the goal is to weaken him, right? You don't have to win. You just have to weaken him.
Finlay is a very how can I say this nicely? He's a dickhead. So he wants either gold or bodies. So he wanted to make sure Goto couldn't even walk out, which didn't happen. Goto very easily walked out of the match.
Right.
Because Finlay's insane, so that's all he wants.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't worry, we'll talk about Finlay a little bit later, and we'll talk about why he was so mad a little bit later in this too.
Okay.
Next up, we have the very cold team of just 5 guys, which is Taka Michinoku, a legend, Taichi, and Sonata, versus Zack Sabre Jr., G1 Climax winner, Kosei Fujita, the future of the junior division in New Japan, and X. X is a what they call a person who is going to be either debuting or returning. It's like a surprise.
Okay.
The X ended up being Ryohei Oiwa, who did his excursion in Noah. I don't know if you got to see a lot of Oiwa in Noah. Maybe not.
No, I didn't.
That kid is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he is a prospect, bro. Like on our screen right now, that's him right in the middle.
Yeah.
He was wrestling Kaito Kiyomiya. He was wrestling a lot in Noah. He wrestled a lot of big matches in Noah. He ended up being a champion, which usually does not happen for people who are on excursion. They don't win championships while they're off doing their thing. He ended up becoming a tag team champion over in Noah. Mm-hmm. He has, like, Noah just kind of pushed him. He has a ton of big match experience. He has a ton of main event experience now. He was in Noah for like 2.5 years.
Oh wow.
He is legit. Let me tell you. And so is Kosei Fujita. Kosei Fujita didn't even have an excursion. He was so good. The only other person to never have an excursion from New Japan was Hiroshi Tanahashi. And I guess Bolton Oleg too, technically. But you know, we're not gonna count him right now. We're gonna talk about him a little bit later. Mm-hmm. Not gonna talk about too much of the match. Taichi and Sonata and Taka Michinoku are very just 5 guys right now. It's just very cold. They're very boring stable. That might be changing soon because at the end of this match, Ryohei pinned Taka pretty convincingly. By the way, looked real good in his re-debut in New Japan. And Taichi, who used to be partners with Zack Sabre Jr. in a old stable called Suzuki-gun, looked very upset. This is the most like emotion Taichi has shown in like a year.
Yeah.
Zack is doing his thing. Zack is on the come up. He's doing great things. Taichi isn't just 5 guys. They are the only person who has any kind of momentum. Just 5 guys right now is Doki, who is currently the junior heavyweight champion over New Japan. But just 5 guys is not looking great right now. They lost this match pretty quickly. TMDK, they looked really good in this match. And we will be talking about Oiwa and Zack a little bit later. But do you have anything for this one at all?
No, I do know that maybe that's something later that they did announce when ZSJ is going to go against Naito.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably like it. Yeah, that's probably later. That's probably like the last thing we'll talk about.
Oh yeah, you know what it is, the championship match. We will be talking about that a little bit later.
Yep, and yeah, I'm excited for that. But it's good to see somebody come back from excursion and then they're like insanely good. They're like better than when they left.
Oiwa has the potential to be like a very big match prospect immediately. Like Shota Umino had to come in and kind of, he's still figuring himself out. Tsuji is really good right now, but he's just kind of stuck behind Naito, which we will be talking about him a little bit later also. Ren Narita is Ren Narita. He's in House of Torture. I mean, that's basically a dead group at this point. Mm-hmm. Oiwa has the potential to be what New Japan needs right now. They need to do what's right with him. I'm not saying give him a championship immediately. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is make sure he gets a lot of big matches and a lot of big match experience, which we will be talking about a little bit later, actually, because New Japan might be doing the right thing.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Next up, we have the Never Openweight 6-man championships, which are trios titles where heavyweights and junior heavyweights can all compete for them. We have the challengers for the umpteenth time: Sho, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil from Bullet Club House of Torture against the champions Bolton Oleg, Toru Yano, and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Ooh, okay.
This is their second defense, but the weird thing about this is the last 6 times the 6-man championships have been defended, even without like Tana and them holding them, because this is their second reign as the Never Sixers. House of Torture has wrestled for them 4 of 6 times.
Wait, what?
Yeah. In the last 6 matches where those Never Sixers were on the line, House of Torture has been in 4 of those 6 matches. It's premier athlete level, bro.
So, should we just take the premier athletes and have them go over there?
So House of Torture and them can wrestle all the time? At this point, maybe. It will get them out of the way for a little while.
Oh, man.
Yeah. House of Torture was doing House of Torture things. If you don't know, they are like, there's a couple of heel factions in New Japan, but they are like the heel faction. Like, they are stone cold. They cheat all the time. People interfere. They do the ref bumps. Like, anything that you expect from heels in America, they do.
Okay.
And it got to a point where it was really bad, where all their matches were straight up just interference. That has now toned down. Now, instead of getting interference like 8 times in the match, we'll get it like 3. It's still not great. It is what it is. Ren Narita, who we were talking about a little bit earlier, who is supposed to be injured, quote unquote, came out to help House of Torture. But it didn't matter because El Phantasmo reappeared. He has a haircut. He's blonde now. He doesn't look like Logan Paul anymore. He made the decision to cut off most of his hair. He went platinum blonde. He went out there to help Tana, Bolton, and Toro and Yano. They ended up retaining the titles. So in their second defense, Bolton, Oleg, Toru Yano, and Hiroshi Tanahashi beat House of Torture. Also, ELP and Jado joined Hantai, which is basically, quote unquote, I guess the main character group of New Japan, if we could say it like that. Probably really realistically not, but the president's there, so I guess they're just going to be the guys for now.
Yeah.
But that's it. This match wasn't super crazy. Do you have anything for this match?
I think El Phantasmo had to cut his hair.
Oh, for sure.
He had to. He kept getting compared to that fucking asshole, Logan Paul. So the best way not to be compared to that prick is cut your hair.
Yeah, if you want to be a good guy, you can't look like Logan Paul. You can't.
Yeah. You just can't.
So yeah, our champions got the win. I'm going to assume that House of Torture is going to get another chance at the Never Sixers because New Japan's trios 6-man division is not great. There aren't a lot of them, so we'll see how that goes. Next up, for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, the challenger Yoshinobu Kanemaru, who is your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, went up against Doki. Kanemaru is a legend. A lot of the stuff that juniors do is partially because of Kanemaru. He has inspired a lot of our current favorites to do what they're doing, including like people like Ricochet, Will Ospreay. Like, a lot of them took things from Kanemaru. And Doki is just Doki. He has now defeated basically the big 3, quote unquote, of junior heavyweight wrestling in New Japan, which is Taiji Ichimori, Hiromu Takahashi, and oh my god, El Desperado. Sorry, El Desperado. I almost forgot about you. You're hurt. You'll be coming back soon though.
Yeah.
This match was really good. I'm not gonna go down the line. I'm not gonna go through the match. I'm not gonna do that. This is definitely one to watch. This was really good. Doki ended up getting the win, but because Kanemaru is part of House of Torture, Sho came out. He was in the last match. He had lost the last match, but he had enough energy to sprint out to help his boy. Didn't work. They still lost.
Oh, wow.
After the match, Sho tries to steal the championship. It doesn't really work. Eventually, Taichi comes out to help out Doki. There's a little back and forth. I'm not fully sure of what happened because I wasn't listening to the translation while it was happening. It is what it is. It sounds like those two, Sho and Doki, are going to be next up. That's going to be the next title match for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Probably in 2 weeks. I will see that probably at King of Pro Wrestling in mid-October. If not, it is what it is. I'm cool with Doki doing whatever he wants at this point. He has proven himself to be a champion. He's great.
So it looks like they're loading up champion-wise.
That King of Pro Wrestling card is going to be insane. It's going to be it's going to be kind of like Wrestle Kingdom, I think. Because right now, that low-key is Wrestle Kingdom because that's where the G1 Climax winner is facing the world champion. So we don't know what's going to be happening after that. Like, we're going to go into uncharted territory in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's going to get crazy.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any thoughts on this at all?
No. All sounds great.
Next up, I actually can't get into this match as much because I didn't get to watch this next one.
No.
I set an alarm because I didn't want to stay up until this to watch it live. I wanted to take a nap and then watch it. My alarm didn't go off, so I ended up watching the semi-main event and the main event. And then this morning, I watched everything else. I never got a chance to watch this one. But it was low-key probably the match of the night, too, which is sad. But I need to watch that later. It was for the Never Openweight Championship. The champion, Henare, wrestled against Shingo Takagi.
Shingo.
I'm very upset that I didn't get to see this match. There's one thing I saw, though. Henare got dropped on his goddamn head with that Last of the Dragon that Shingo does.
Yeah.
Gah. If you were to see that image, bro, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna put it in the podcast. But if you were to see that image, Lord have mercy. He got he probably shrank like a half inch.
Oh, well, in this interview, bro's barely getting up, man.
Yeah, no, he is it was not great. But Shingo ended up winning, so Shingo is now once again the Never Openweight champion. Shingo is probably the greatest Never Openweight champion of all time at this point now. He has the most defenses. He's creeping up, if not already past, the most times holding the title. I mean, he is just the Never champion. But that's it. Do you have any thoughts on this one? Like I said, I didn't watch it. I didn't want to make something up in bad faith. You have anything for this?
No. It just sounds like Shingo is just he's forever the Never Openweight champion.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want it against Shingo? He's like, yep. All right, here you go.
Here you go. I think they gave him a really good reason because we're going to be talking about Shingo again near the end of the night.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, bro.
Man, no.
Next up is the semi-main event. This is my match of the night, actually. I really enjoyed this match until I can watch Shingo and Henare.
Okay.
It was for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Champion David Finlay wrestled against Yoshihashi. Now, I know those names, I've talked shit about both of them on this podcast before.
Uh-huh.
This match was fantastic.
Oh, no shit.
David Finlay might be top 3 strongest wrestlers in wrestling right now. Uh-huh. Straight up.
Really?
Yeah, bro. He wrestled Jeff Cobb a couple weeks ago. He was throwing around Jeff Cobb like he was a fucking like he was a rag doll. He was deadlifting Jeff Cobb and just throwing him up easily.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, he definitely does not look like he would be how WWE wrestlers, they have all the muscle and stuff like that and they look like that.
Well, it's aesthetics versus what is it? Aesthetic versus
Performance, I think, right?
performance. Yeah,
And let me tell you, Finley.
functionality. Aesthetic versus functionality.
There you
There we
go.
go.
And let me tell you, Finley has that fucking functionality, bro. Like that
Mhm.
motherfucker. He was picking up Yoshihashi. Also, isn't small, right? I mean, he's not as big as Jeff Cobb, but he was like fucking deadlifting Yoshihashi like 20 minutes into the match and fucking throwing him around. It was crazy. But
Damn.
Finley did end up winning in a very good match. Again, this is another one I would suggest watching. For people who don't get to watch New Japan consistently, Finley has really shown out. Like I talked about how good he was in the G1, even though I didn't like him as much. Still, this one, I gotta give it to him. I can't be a hater anymore. Like he's fucking good. He knows what he's doing and he knows how to be his kind of Bullet Club leader. He's not taking after Jay White. He's not doing that. He has his own style, and like I said, probably top 3 most powerful wrestler in wrestling. Full stop.
Oh, okay.
But he was great. Yoshihashi did really well. Yoshihashi is always really good in big matches. He's just Yoshihashi. He just looks dumb whenever he does anything. But he is still phenomenal. He did what he had to do. He did a very good job in just fighting David Finlay.
Damn. Yeah, I need to go back and watch this.
This whole show is actually really good. But realistically, if you watch from match 6 to 9, golden.
Okay. Okay.
After this match, Yoshihashi's tag team partner, Hiroki Goto, comes out. Goto like picks up Yoshihashi, like Yoshihashi is like kind of out, and then he seemingly challenges David Finlay for the Global Heavyweight Championship.
Ooh.
This is part of the reason why he's probably upset that Gabe Kidd didn't finish the job earlier in the night, because he knew this was gonna happen.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay.
So we're probably going to be getting that most likely at King of Pro Wrestling also. We're going to get the actual card for King of Pro Wrestling tomorrow, Monday for us. It will probably be out a couple days by the time this podcast comes out. So we're probably going to be getting that. Like I said, the King of Pro Wrestling card is stacked. There's going to be a lot. We'll probably be talking about that in an episode in a couple weeks at some point. But you have any thoughts on this one?
No.
That makes sense. We are going to be moving on to the main event for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Challenger Great Khan versus champion Tetsuya Naito. I normally don't break down matches. Profit, you are way better breaking down matches than I am. I normally don't break down matches. I kind of have to for this one because there's a lot we got to talk about.
Okay.
First off, Great Khan takes over immediately, and Naito's on the back foot for a good solid like 10 minutes. Eventually, Great Khan starts attacking Naito's knees because we know Naito's knees basically don't exist anymore at this point. Naito tries to come back. He tries to hit him with a couple things. Great Khan's able to shut him down pretty easily. Like, surprisingly easily, actually. Like I said, Naito was on the back foot for this entire match, basically.
Wow. Okay.
It's around the 20-minute mark. And I'm not kidding. Around the 20-minute mark, Naito kind of wakes up and is able to actually start getting some kind of offense in. And at this point, the match is back and forth. The problem is, well, two problems. One, Naito's knees are shot. Like, he's trying to move around. He can't really move consistently. He can't climb up ropes, really. There was a point where Great Khan was sitting up there, and Naito was going to do his, like, patented Poison Rana from the top rope, or Hurricane Rana. Naito fell off the rope. He couldn't get up there, so Great Khan had to, like, pick him back up and get him back out there to do the Hurricane Rana. Like I said, Naito's knees were shot. Like a lot of Naito's offense just was not working in here.
Ooh.
And two, this might be the first time since Naito's been like on excursion, since he's been the leader of LIJ, where the crowd just wasn't on his side 100%. A lot of the crowd was cheering for Great Khan.
Well, probably because Great Khan is dope. Like he's a dope person outside the ring, so it's probably why.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But it's still Tetsuya Naito. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who Naito's up against. Like, the crowd is always like 90-10 in his favor. Was not happening this time. So eventually the crowd kind of gets back to Naito's side, but this was after 25 minutes into the match. Eventually, Great Khan is trying to bait Naito to use the Destino, which is his finishing move, because Naito hasn't really been able to hit it that well over the last like 6 months.
Yeah.
He eventually does hit it. It's kind of sloppy, but it works, and he's able to pin Great Khan 1, 2, 3, and Naito retains. Great, fantastic. Great Khan looked really great in this match. He has like Great Khan's like, I think he's finally figured it out. Like, he knows who he is. He's not afraid to do what he's going to be doing. He's a very grounded, very technical, very good wrestler. He's really figured it out. He is a main eventer now. He's there.
Yeah.
Naito, he's definitely on his last legs, bro.
Yeah, I could see it in this video, man. When you're standing the way he's standing, like where the legs are kind of like, I don't know, it's a weird stance, but you see like it's like you see like old wrestlers, if you see them, they, especially ones that were high flyers, they all stand like that.
Yeah, you can see it right there, right? Like, his knees are kind of like, he can't stand up straight. His knees are kind of like out to the right and the left a little bit.
Yeah, they're kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like they were riding a horse, man. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Yeah, when you see that, they're for sure. His knees, his legs are for sure shot.
Yeah, and he's sitting here wrestling in 28-minute matches still. It's not great. Great Khan looked great in here. I think no matter what happens, I think the heavyweight division will be fine after Naito. But the fact that Naito is like this and he's 42. Naito is 42 years old.
Oof.
Like, he's very prideful, but it's hard watching him right now.
Right.
After this match, Zach comes out with the G1 trophy. You kind of saw it. We kind of passed by that. You kind of saw it on the screen already. Zach comes out with the G1 trophy, and in Spanish, or not Spanish, in Japanese, he's talking to Naito about how his time is almost up, because he's going to be wrestling against him at King of Pro Wrestling in 2 weeks. While he's talking, fucking Shingo Takagi comes out with the Never Openweight Championship. He comes out, and he seemingly also challenges Naito for the World Championship.
What?
Yeah, this it's for New Japan. This is crazy. This never happens. We never get like this thing where multiple people are coming up. Zach's looking at him. Naito's looking at him, because Naito also wants this match, right? But before Naito can say anything, which I don't think he has a choice, the G1 winner called their shot at the King of Pro Wrestling, so he's wrestling Zach no matter what.
Yeah.
We know that for sure now, because Oiwa came out, Ryohei Oiwa, who came out, who had just debuted. He slides into the ring, gets into Shingo's face, and he challenges Shingo for the Never Openweight Championship. And Shingo accepts.
Nice.
So at King of Pro Wrestling, we are getting Ryohei Oiwa versus Shingo Takagi for the Never Openweight Championship. And then the one that we've known about, the one that, for sure, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tetsuya Naito for the World Heavyweight Championship. They have stacked this card because, like I said, Oiwa is a big match wrestler. So his first singles match is against Shingo Takagi.
Yeah.
That's a make or break, no matter what. Like, you can do whatever you are doing in Noah. If you come in and you wrestle Shingo, you have to have a good match against Shingo.
You got to.
Yeah, there's no choice.
Because Shingo's going to bring it, dude.
Mm-hmm. So we have that set up. So Zack and Oiwa leave. Then Naito takes the mic, and I'm not going to talk about everything that he said. All I'm going to say is the important part. He said that he's going to beat Zack at King of Pro Wrestling. Then he's going to call his shot at the Tokyo Dome. And then he looks at Shingo Takagi. And then also looks at Hiromu Takahashi, who's doing commentary outside.
Ooh.
Because both those two, while they are all in the same faction, Shingo and Hiromu have wanted a singles match with Naito for the World Championship at this point now for years, really.
Yeah.
That happens, we get the confetti, Naito wins, everyone's excited, and that's how King of Pro Wrestling, that's how Destruction in Kobe ends. Any thoughts on the show at all?
It sounded like a good show. For sure, it sounded like a solid show for the most part. So yeah, I gotta resubscribe to New Japan World, and then I'm gonna start checking all this out.
Bro, now's the time to do it. New Japan right now, like we've talked about on the podcast before, but New Japan is going in a very new direction right now. So usually at this time, everyone kind of figures out what's going to happen. People kind of stop watching around now because we'll get like another title match or whatever. But people will usually stop watching around Super Junior Tag League, and they'll stop watching around like actual Tag League, like not actual heavyweight Tag League. This year you kind of can't do that because we don't know what's going to be happening. Like they're actually going to start building Wrestle Kingdom probably after King of Pro Wrestling, and it's going to be a very interesting time because it's not laid out. We don't know exactly what's going to happen yet. So
wow, yeah, that's the first time in a long time.
Over a decade.
Yeah.
So for anyone who hasn't watched New Japan in a while, or people who want to get into like wrestling outside of American wrestling, right now New Japan is a very good one to do. Plus, it's not weekly. Like you can come in, you can watch a show, then you can kind of dip out. They'll have like another show in a couple weeks. So you can watch a show. Like it's very easy to watch if you don't have a lot of time. But that's all for New Japan. We will be talking about them more a little bit probably next week or the week after. Now we got to get into that TNA Impact.
Ooh boy. Well, let me tell you, man, this week's TNA Impact, again, pretty damn solid. Man. I cannot complain. I think I sound like a broken record because I've said it for the past few weeks. Well, watch a TNA show, you almost can't go wrong.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get into it. So, this week starting out, they went straight to wrestling. So the very first match, so Wendy Chu and Rosemary, they teamed up. We'll just call them Team Weird. So they teamed up, and they're going against Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace didn't know who her partner was going to be at the beginning of this match, and so Jordynne Grace came out. She got into the ring, and Ariana Grace, which is um, Santino's daughter, she comes out and announces who Jordynne Grace's partner is none other than NXT's Sol Ruca. Let me tell you, man, Sol Ruca, she should not be in NXT. She should be in any other company that's not WWE. I just gonna be honest. Like, I think like the what she does and what she brings and the way she can the way she wrestles just does not fit that company at all. And she like seeing her here in TNA, it's like she totally fits that style, or should fit like an AEW's Ring of Honor style,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. It's just it's not the her style is like completely different and fits the other styles. Yeah, man, like there was a lot of like this match was like primarily it was back and forth. Everybody got their offense in. Everybody was like, hitting hard. There was at one point Jordynne Grace, like she got a hot tag and then she literally bulldozed through everybody in the ring. And towards the end of the match, Jordynne Grace was she knocked out Rosemary. She started beating up Wendy Chu. Um, Sol Ruca runs, goes to the top rope, and does that insane flipping cut, like reverse flip cutter thing that does not look real, but it is like some of the craziest shit you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Jordynne Grace hits Wendy Chu with the Juggernaut driver, and as the ref is counting, 1, 2, right before he hit 3, Tasha Steelz comes in and starts beating up Jordynne Grace. And
Ah,
so it ends in DQ.
man.
But like overall, man, it was a good match. It was a solid match. Both people from NXT did good. Both people, TNA wrestlers, they're solid all around. So, yeah, it was a very good match.
I'm a,
Uh,
I'm actually a really big fan of Sol Ruca. Like I like watching her every once in a while. I don't watch NXT, but
yeah,
I do like watching her. She is like one of the people that gives me like a little bit of hope in WWE's Performance Center, Be-
hmm
because I don't think she wrestled before. If she did, uh, cool. But if she didn't, she would be like the first one in a long time that is a legit wrestler straight from WWE's system.
right, yeah. I don't think she wrestled before.
Oh, they gave me hope. They got one.
Well, they got two for me. It's like her and like Obafemi.
Oh, see, I haven't actually watched him at all, so I need to.
Oh, yeah, you should. Yeah, I think you would like him. Um, but yeah, no, like overall, it was a great match. Tasha still has beef with Jordynne Grace. So
Makes sense.
yeah, and then as you see, she's just fucking mowing through everybody right now. That's why she's called the Juggernaut.
Yeah. Ooh.
Um, all right. So the next match, funny enough, is Jonathan Gresham versus Laredo Kid.
Oh, husband and wife.
Like back-to-back matches. Um, this match was damn good, dude. Like, um, it was a lot of lucha. There was a little bit of everything in this match, but you know, um, Jonathan Gresham, he's so damn good, man. He can fit any style, which is like insane, man. Like the way he does shit. It's just like he can flow from one style to the next. Um, so as we go through this match, like it was literally like a flow of Gresham doing like kind of like the Gotch style wrestling, and Laredo Kid just doing lucha libre. And then Gresham would switch it up and then start doing lucha libre also, and then he would ground Laredo Kid. So it was just a combination of like a whole lot of things. At the end, though, like you know, Gresham snaps, beats the crap out of Laredo Kid, and then makes Laredo Kid tap out. He didn't use the octopus this time. The ground octopus stretch. He did like what he did was he took Laredo Kid's leg and then started banging it on the ground until Laredo Kid tapped out.
Ooh. Vicious. I like that.
Yeah, no, he was like, no. And the story is he's still recovering from that from the being evil from the ink. that black ink that made him evil, like, a few months ago.
Oh, the thing where he had to wear the mask, right? That thing.
Yeah, yeah. And that was the thing, that was the main story that they were leading up with. And they're like, oh, he has some what is it, like flashbacks or whatever of, you know, being, the evil version of himself. So like he keeps teetering back and forth on that.
Huh. Okay.
So yeah, no, that match was good. I think if you were going to watch this show, these first two matches are like really. I actually no, I would say the first three matches are really damn good. Like, are probably the best on the card.
Okay.
Easy. So with that, let me get to the next match. Next match is Mike Bailey, Kushida, and Leon Slater versus Zachary Wentz and the ABC. I'll always say this now because Mike Bailey, X Division champ, is the biggest idiot in the in pro wrestling. But what's even dumber is the fact that they gave Zachary Wentz the title for like 2 weeks, and then Mike Bailey wins it back,
They have to
just
do.
so he can show up to NXT with the X Division title. That's it.
Ugh, gross.
At least he won that match. Jeez.
Yeah, that is true.
But they're having another match, so he's probably going to lose again. So there's that. Um, this match, man, everybody has their own style. A lot of high flyers in this match, so you can only imagine what happens. Bodies everywhere. There's people flying all over the place. Mine is like Kushida. Kushida doesn't fly that much.
Yeah.
Kind of grounds it. Um, but yeah, like early on, it was back and forth between um it was back and forth between like Kushida and what you're seeing right now, Chris Bay. There was a lot of back and forth in that. But there's at one point Kushida is literally wrestling everybody against on the other side. He doesn't even tag out. He just wrestles everybody. And there's one point in the match where, you know, everybody's in the ring. The two legal people were Zachary Wentz and Leon Slater. So everybody pretty much got knocked out of the ring. Zachary Wentz hits that like cool ass like flipping diamond cutter thing that he does off the rope. Hit Leon Slater with it, and they pinned Leon Slater. So Zachary Wentz and the ABC took the match. And yeah, like right after this, there was the ABC were getting interviewed, and they were talking about how the system is a joke because they it was a fluke that they got their titles, that they lost the titles to them, and two people show up, and I'm gonna let you guess who shows up.
Who shows up?
Oh, come on, you already know this. I'll just say they're old.
Which old man? Please don't tell me.
Come on.
Not
You know who it is.
not Bully Ray.
No, no, no. No, I said it's a tag team.
Was it old tag team?
Yeah.
Fuck, I actually don't know.
Oh man, the Hardys.
Oh, I forgot they existed.
So the Hardys show up and they're like, "Hey man, um, we're going to eventually. So whether you're the champions or the system's the champions, we're going to get our shot at the tag team title and we're going to win." And the ABC is like, "Huh? Well, you probably go against us because we're going to beat the system and get our titles back." And they're like, "Okay." And then like there was like this dumb interaction with Jeff Hardy, and he's like, "Well, guys, the whether you guys win or not, the train's coming, and he started chewing at them.
See, this is why this is why I forgot they existed. This reason right here.
So, Chris Bay and Ace Austin were like, they looked at each other and were like, "Did he really just chew at us?" And that was the end of that segment.
I. All right.
They were like, they had the same reaction you did. They're like, "Wait, what? Is he really doing this right now?"
I mean, okay. I forgot the Hardys existed. That's great. Do they really need to be the next challengers? Really?
It's gonna happen.
I don't think that's a good idea.
It's the Hardys getting back to WWE tour.
Are they gonna show up on WrestleMania again like they did when New Day were hosting? Just to get fired 6 months later?
Well, we'll see if they get fired from it, TNA, right? So we'll see. So overall, the match was good. Match was damn good. The segment was like, I don't know. It's kind of weird, but yeah. So next up is the debut of Lei Ying Lee, which was formerly known as Shia Lee in NXT in WWE, who like went to the main roster in WWE, didn't even do a match. Like she went to the main roster and then they immediately shit canned her. Like she comes out looking like Katana.
That's dope. I'll give you that. That's dope.
Yeah. Her debut match was, it was all right. Like, I think the one thing she does too much is like, she'll hit two moves and be like, yeah, and start pandering to the crowd and try to get the crowd pumped up instead of just wrestling the match to get them into it. I think that's like the main takeaway I have for this match. Was that she was just trying to get the crowd pumped for no reason. I guess instead of wrestling her match, like instead of wrestling that match and get them invested while she's wrestling. Right. So yeah, I think that's my only real criticism. The match was okay. I think she did clip that the talent, because like there's one time she throws a kick and then the talent gets pissed off and hits her back.
That's Heian. Heian is a New Japan Strong staple. She's real good. So if you clip her, she gonna knock your ass out.
Yeah, no, not that. And yeah, she for sure does it. she knocked the shit out of her because I think it's like there's one part she does like a question mark kick and I think she really hit her. And then, instead of her getting all that offense, she like reversed it and started beating the crap out of her. So, it's okay debut. Like, I guess we'll see where it goes, right? Like, yeah, like you see right there, she keeps going, come on, and stuff like that. Instead of just wrestling the damn match, like wrestle the match. Get people invested that way.
She's definitely like a. Do I want to say this? Do I want to say this?
Go for it. Just do it.
Right now, there are factions of talent right now, right? There are the talent that want to go to WWE.
Yep.
And there's everybody else. I'll just leave it like that. There are people who are willing to go to Ring of Honor, NXT, or Ring of Honor, AEW, New Japan, Noah, like other places, American Indies, things like that, just to go do their thing. And there are another set of people who will go through TNA because of the partnership to try to get back. And I'm pretty sure Lei Ying Lee is the latter, where she wants to go back to WWE, because she's definitely wrestling like a WWE style, and she also just it seems like from me watching this right now, she just kind of expects the crowd to be on her side, which is why she was like doing all the stuff that you were talking about. Which
Yeah,
that's WWE, right? Like they don't know any better. Like they're just personality, and your personality is supposed to get you over, and that's not how that always works.
right. Yeah, especially like it's like you get into the place that's like in the middle, right? Like TNA. A lot of times in TNA, you got to wrestle
Yeah.
to get over, right? Like your wrestling will get over just as much as a character will, and actually even more so, right?
Oh
That's
yeah.
how Josh Alexander got over. Like he didn't get his character until later, but his fucking amazing wrestling got him over for the most part.
It seems like Sol Ruca was really popular with the fan base in on this match too on this episode.
Oh yeah, of course, because she was good. She didn't. Did you see her pander to try to do that shit? The same shit Leah Ying's trying to do to the crowd?
No,
No,
I don't think so.
she was wrestling, and the crowd got behind her 100%. So yeah, that's I think that's like I totally agree because there are some people that are on the you call it the path to WWE. That's the path that they see to get them there.
Hmm.
I think she's one of them. Um, Joe Hendry's another. Who else could I name? See, Joe Hendry's another one. Yeah, I would say probably nah, not Ash by Elegance. I don't think she would want to go back. Well, she probably would. Who knows? But
It
I don't
really
think she's in that camp.
it really feels like Jordynne Grace is kind of there too, because all Jordynne Grace works with right now are mostly NXT talent.
She works with a combination of both NXT and TNA talent. Because most of her big matches have all been against TNA guys,
Mm.
and all and actually the other thing too is she's been doing most of the indies too.
Oh, she's still doing indie stuff. Okay, that's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's been defending. She's been like when she's not wrestling in TNA, she's like showing up like anywhere. She could show up at like GCW next week. Who knows? Like she'll just show up somewhere and start and defend the title.
Okay, that's dope. That's good to hear. I didn't know about that. That's good.
Yeah, but yeah, if there's somebody that's like more, more than likely going to be going to WWE, it'd probably be her. But it's not in the very obvious camp of, oh, I'm doing everything right now to be WWE bound.
Yeah, like Joe Hendry and her right now, Lei Ying Lee.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, and yeah, we could put the Hardys in that camp too,
Oh yeah, for sure. The Hardys, they're definitely gonna try to go back.
because they're like, we want to retire in WWE. So it's like, okay, yeah, it's kind of obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So actually, like right after this, there was a backstage segment with Matt Cardona. So it first started out with oh man, what's her name? I always forget her name. It was Matt Cardona and oh, okay, yeah, Stephanie DeLander. So Stephanie DeLander talking to um Santino, and right when they're about to like really actually talk about something, Matt Cardona shows up. He's like, "Steph, what are you doing here? I thought your neck was hurt. I thought you needed surgery. Why don't you get out of here?" So and Santino's like, "Oh, just the guy I was looking for." So you talked about all this stuff about how you wanted to go against PCO, right? He's like, "You got it. Yeah, your next match is against PCO." And he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll go against PCO." He's like, "Oh, but I've left out. It's going to be a monsters ball match."
Ooh.
So it's going to be Cardona versus PCO in a monsters ball match at Victory Road. So yeah, that should be good.
I will be there. I'll be watching that.
Yeah, that's going to be good. And okay, this leads to oh, and there was one more segment. Let me get that. Let me get that out the way. So Leon Slater is upset that he was the one that took the pin. And Speedball Mike Bailey walks up to him. He's like, "Don't worry about it, man. Just keep going forward. Chest out and walk forward. You are the future of this division." And Kung Fu Sensei style of talk that fucking Mike Bailey does. And then Leon Slater's like, "Oh yeah, maybe, okay, yeah," kind of believing what he's saying.
What a nice mentor.
Yeah, huh? Just don't do anything he does. Just don't put your X Division title up in the Ultimate X. Well, before the Ultimate X, when you're already in it.
Yeah, don't put your title at jeopardy for literally no reason.
Yeah, zero reason. Okay, so next up, Josh Alexander
Let's go.
with the dopest theme music on in TNA right now. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, I mean, is it even a competition at this point?
I don't think so, man.
It's really not.
It's really not. Other than, you know what? I think I like Eric Young's too. I like Eric Young's a lot.
I'm gonna need a refresher. I don't think I've heard it in a while.
His is like, oh no, yeah. I think I like Eric Young's because it fits Eric Young, and that's probably why.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Josh Alexander comes to the ring, and he's talking about almost talking like he's like a reformed man, and pretty much he calls out Eric Young to come to the ring. And Eric Young comes to the ring and he's like, "I'm glad we're getting to see the real you now. The real you, not the fake you that was from before." And I'm like, "Oh no. This is gonna end badly."
Oh yeah.
And he kept saying that and kept saying that over and over again. And Josh Alexander was like, "Yeah, man, I'm glad you're a good friend and stuff like that, right?" And so they started, it looked like they were about to leave, right? And they did at first Eric Young was sitting on the ropes to let Josh Alexander outside, and Josh Alexander's like, "No, no, no, let me do it." So he sits on the rope for like a second. As soon as Eric Young tries to get out of the ring, he kicks the ropes and of course hits him in the nuts, and then gets Eric Young in the ring. He's about to hit the C4 spike on him. Steve Macklin comes out. um And when Steve Macklin comes out and starts fighting Josh Alexander, those two guys last week that he Sinner and Saint, they come out and they beat the crap out of Steve Macklin. And Josh Alexander picks up Steve Macklin, hits him with the C4 spike, and then he takes the mic. He's like, "Yo, I I haven't changed. There was no reason for me to change. I haven't changed at all. And I am the same person I was before. You guys are the ones that have failed to see it. See it. So, um, Macklin's crumpled in the middle of the ring, uh, and Eric Young is like crawling towards him. And yeah, like I think we're gonna get a follow up pretty soon. It's probably gonna be Macklin and Eric Young versus Sinner and Saint, leading to Josh Alexander versus Eric Young. But yeah, overall, that was pretty damn good segment. I enjoyed that a lot.
Josh Alexander got cronies now.
Yep.
Oh, he's a heel.
Yeah, he's a heel, man. Like 100%, dude. Like I think I said it last week when no, you actually said the first thing because I was like, when he went up to Center and Saint, you're like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
we already saw this coming."
My worst fears coming true. He is a heel.
We get asshole Alexander now. That's what we get.
His cronies are Sinner and Saint.
Yeah,
All right, well, whatever.
yeah, those guys aren't bad.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, overall, good segment. Uh, pushes that storyline along with Josh Alexander and Eric Young. So we're gonna get some good matches out of it. And Steve Macklin's in the mix of it too. So we're for sure gonna get some great matches out of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next up is Heather Reckless versus Shia Brookside. Or Zia or Shia. Zaya. Oops.
I,
I
I
don't remember how they explained it.
I don't know how to say her first name either. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't either.
Okay, whichever pronunciation of it is.
Because I know it's not the same as like Zaya Lee, right? Like it's a different pronunciation. I
Okay,
think
so it's not like Shia Lee, it's Zaya.
maybe
It's
we'll rock with that for right now.
So this match was it was you've heard me say it before, the TNA special. It's a 8-minute match, start to finish. Um Actually no, it was about 12 minutes. I lied. It wasn't 8, it was about 10 to 12 minutes. But a lot of the beginning of this match was Zaya Brookside like beating the shit out of the Reckless inside the ring and outside the ring. Heather Reckless eventually gets starts getting the upper hand, and that was after Ash by Elegance came out and they started heckling Shia Brookside and getting her to lose her focus. So as soon as that happened, uh Heather Reckless was like start beating up Shia Brookside, hits her with the finish, and which is just like it was kind of like a splash off the top rope, and yeah, Heather Reckless beats Shia Brookside and gets taken to the back by Ash by Elegance and the personal concierge. This leads to a backstage segment where, oh, so during this match, I guess she was trying to impress Ash by Elegance, so she put a bunch of extensions in her hair, Heather Reckless. So as she was getting beat up by Shia Brookside, her extensions were flying out, and she kept pulling them out.
Oh damn.
So, and pretty sure it was on purpose. So, like, um, when they when they got to the back and they were doing a little segment, they were like, "Okay, you got something about you, kid. I think we can help you. I think the thing you're missing is elegance." And they were picking up her extensions that fell out, and they're like, this crap needs to go though. So they like threw it out, and they're like, yeah, we got to get you some new gear. We got to make you elegant. So looks like she's joining up with Ash by Elegance and being part of that crew now. And right after this, there was a there was one more segment. So there was a segment with so Jake something and so like the first couple of those to the back is Jake something and Alex Hammerstone. Jake something is like curling some weights, and Hammerstone is like telling them to push and lift some more. Cody Deaner comes to the back and he's like, "Hey," because I guess they're cousins, him and Jake something.
Oh shit.
So he's like, "Hey, man, this isn't the way to do things. Like this ain't you. That type deal." And Hammerstone cuts him off. He's like, "Hey, hey, you see us? You look at us." He's pointing to the bodies. He's like, "We are winners, and you're a loser. Get out of here." And Jake something says, a few things to Cody Deaner, and then Cody Deaner gets pissed off, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and then Jake's up, no, Hammerstone's like, "What? Are you going to challenge me to a match or something? Hey, what you got? What are you going to do?" And Cody Deaner's like, well, one thing I don't do is I don't want to. He's like, this may be a mistake. He even says this. This may be a mistake, but the one thing I don't do is run away from matches. So you're on next week. So the match next week is going to be Cody Deaner versus Hammerstone, and Deaner's totally getting killed.
Oh yeah, he's gonna die.
Cody Deaner's going to die in the ring. And that leads us to our final match of the night. Uh,
We might as well knock it out. Might as well.
I hate it.
Yeah. I mean, but we called this though. So.
Wait. There's a reason I hate it.
Ooh.
There's a specific reason I fucking hate this match. So, okay. They both come out. The king of TNA, of course, comes out, does his thing. And then, Joe Hendry does his thing.
Hmm.
And so they're wrestling their match, right? They're, doing the match. It's a pretty solid match. At one point, Kazarian gets knocked out of the ring, right? And then Joe Hendry has his back turned. The ref has his back turned. Kazarian finds his jacket, gets brass knuckles out, and the ref is like, has his back turned. Joe Hendry is like, trying to taunt, puts his head out, tries to taunt Kazarian to get back in the ring. Kazarian decks him with the brass knuckles, then runs into the ring and pins him. Pins him clean. Like it was 1, 2, 3. And since Kazarian did not hide the brass knuckles because he just hit him with them and tossed them, right?
Yeah.
So Nick Nemeth comes up there and he's like, "Hey, ref, he had brass knuckles. He had these right here." And another ref came from the back and was like, "Oh yeah, he hit him with the thing." I'm like, "Wait a minute. What the hell is going on here?" So Santino comes out and he's like, "Oh no. See, this match has high implications. So we can't let it end like that with you hitting him with brass knuckles. So we're going to restart the match." They restart the match. About like 2 minutes later, Joe Hendry hits his move and pins Kazarian. And that's it. The problem I fucking hate this match is like the reset, the reason for the reset and stuff like that. Like, seriously? How inconsistent are you assholes? Like a few weeks ago, like Moose hits like 4 people with a chair and nothing happens, right? Like during a match. But because Nick Nemeth jumped up and was like, "Hey, he used brass knuckles," and then everybody else jumps up and is like, "Hey, he used brass knuckles," all of a sudden the match gets restarted. And I'm like, okay, that's like the most inconsistent thing you guys have done.
Yeah, that's never been a thing in wrestling. Like it's
Right.
very rare for someone to come down and be like, oh, look, he cheated, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, he cheated. Restart the match." That usually is like caught in the moment.
Right.
So Joe Hendry lost. He lost.
Yeah, he lost. He like, he yes, Kazarian cheated, but he did it within the ways heels are supposed to cheat, right? Behind the ref's back. If the ref doesn't see it, it's technically, and this is even Bully Ray talking about this on Busted Open podcast, by the way. The ref should not see it. So the ref didn't see it. Kazarian hits him upside the head with brass knuckles, tosses him. Doesn't matter if they're outside the ring. It doesn't matter. He didn't see him during the act. Right? So he pinned him. He won. Like, technically, in all of pro wrestling, he won. Not this night because, we wanted to get Joe Hendry over. But I just think that was like, that's the thing that it was the weird sideways turn that kind of took me out of it. It might be me being picky, but it's just like, well, all those weeks Tasha Steelz was cheating to win matches, you guys didn't have somebody run out and be like, "Oh, she's cheating," right? There was like numerous other title matches where this has happened. So for it to be a number one contenders match, this is the one time you pull that card. There's plenty of other times you could have pulled it, right? But you pulled it now in the weirdest way. Like it's just too disjointed for me.
It's such a weird thing to do here, because usually in this situation, right, like, we've been watching wrestling for a long time, we've seen these situations before. We'll see the heel cheat, and then the face will contest in like the next episode of whatever show we're on, right? It's
Yeah,
happened everywhere. Like, or we'll get like a weird thing like AEW did, where like the ref won't see like a foot under the rope, and they'll tap or whatever, like, and they'll contest the next week. Why is Nick Nemeth trying to help Joe Hendry? Like, that doesn't make sense either. Like, you're going to be wrestling one of them for your world title. Like, why would you go out there and try to help one of them get an advantage? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
so earlier on when he was doing commentary, he said he's the most afraid of Kazarian because he'll do anything to win.
Oh, so you're a bitch.
Because he'll Kazarian will do anything to win.
You're
So yeah,
you're the baby face. The whole dynamic, whole old school dynamic. I start yelling again. The whole old school dynamic of wrestling is the baby face overcoming the heel, doing whatever it takes. Because, newsflash, every heel will cheat to try to win because they are the villain in the story. So you, as the good guy in the story, are supposed to overcome that. So why are you helping someone else because you're afraid? You're a bitch. That means you're not a fighting champion. You've been spouting all week, all month, since you had the championship, that you're a fighting champion. You're really not, because if you're afraid to wrestle a heel, that means you're not trying to fight everybody.
right. And yeah, this is just weird, man. Like it didn't. I don't know. It didn't like. It's the whole part of the match that didn't gel. If we were gonna just have Joe Hendry win, just have him win clean. There's no reason why you should, do that spot. That spot just didn't. That didn't do it for me. It took me out of it.
That's like some we were just talking about it. That's some like WWE shit. Like, that's what
Mhm.
WWE would do. They would find some like really weird workaround to have like a match restarted or to do this. Like, Joe Hendry could have just won. Like you said,
Yeah,
he could have just won.
yeah. Just have him win. Let him and Kazarian like. I'm I'm pretty sure like. Well, no, like I'll just say this: like him and Kazarian were having a good match up till that point, and then it got weird because of that whole hey he's cheating, and then I'm gonna start the match because he's cheating. It's like, wait a minute, and and rule number 5066 in pro wrestling, dude hits guy upside head with brass knuckles, dude wins. It
That's
doesn't matter if somebody on the outside is yelling that he's cheating or not. We know he cheated. The ref doesn't know because the ref had his back turned. The ref has his back turned. He won. It doesn't matter.
the fact that we're agreeing with Bully Ray, of all people, should tell you that this is a very, very weird outcome to a match.
Yeah. Well, he didn't. He wasn't talking about this match in particular. He was just talking about. I think this was a subject of AEW refs
Oh, okay.
because a lot of times, like, and he had a point. They would cheat in front of their face, and and nothing would happen. But this was like what 2022,
Yeah.
2023 AEW,
Mm-hmm.
where like the refs were like they weren't great
They
at that
they
time.
they were being, that was the time when they were being WWE light, and it wasn't working.
Yeah. But like stuff would happen in front of them and they wouldn't call it. They would just let it happen.
Yeah.
And then other matches, stuff would happen in front of their face and they would call it. They're much more consistent now, but yeah, he had a point. But in this case, the ref didn't see it. So, yeah, that one part took me out of the match.
It makes like zero sense.
But yeah, now Joe Hendry is the number one contender for Uh, nickname his title. I think we're gonna see that at Victory Road.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bound for Glory.
Bound for Glory, Bound for Glory. Why do I keep saying Victory Road? I think I saw it so. Man, I saw it somewhere and that shit stuck in my head. Bound for Glory. Same with the PCO and Matt Cardona match that I said Victory Road for. That's going to be Bound for Glory also, the
Mm-hmm.
Monsters Ball match. But overall, yeah, like TNA did a TNA. It's solid card overall. Beside my nitpick of the final match of the card. Um, yeah, it was good. You know, I enjoyed it up to that point, and I can't wait to see. Again, I can't wait to see what happens next week.
It seems like it was a good episode. I still need to sit down, buckle down, and get this Impact Plus so I can start watching these shows. I wish it was still on YouTube, but that's in the past now. So I gotta do that.
Yeah, like, and if somebody at TNA, well, hold on, somebody at fucking TNA hears us right now. Why the hell did you take off the TV show off of YouTube? Like, I subscribed, I literally subscribed just for that. Now your channel's not even worth subscribing to. I didn't care about the pay-per-views, but the YouTube, the having your shows on YouTube is way better, and you lost access to like so many people. I guess it's to push your TNA Plus, but man, like I just feel like it's a missed opportunity, especially if, like, it helps lessen your problem of where can I watch this, right? Like,
Yep.
you know, not everybody has access TV on cable, and not everybody knows about TNA Plus, right? But if they go to YouTube and subscribe, pay for the subscription. It was a nice subscription, $4.99. It was totally worth it. It
Mm-hmm.
was actually one of the best deals on, one of the best wrestling deals on just online. Period. Right. Yeah, because like right now, I could tell people to watch TNA, and they're like, "Where can I watch it?" Now the only place to watch it is TNA Plus. They have to do $9.99 a month, which isn't bad, but at the same time, I could have just told them, hey, if you want to like get your feet wet and watch the show, watch it on YouTube. Pay $4.99 for a month, watch it on YouTube. Lower barrier to entry, and it's a common place everybody goes.
Yeah. If you didn't care about the pay per views, you could pay $1. Like
Yeah,
you get $1 and you get all the TV shows. Like it would have been great, but nope.
yeah. So I don't know. That's just my little rant, but
You have any final thoughts on any of the shows that we talked about on this episode?
I think they're all great, and yeah, no, we're good, man.
All right. You know what? Because I'm pretty sure
What?
I'm gonna have to do it next time.
Oh,
Profit, take us home.
oh, see, you guys get to hear my voice again. All right, guys. Of course, thanks for watching. Thanks for, sticking through the podcast and listening to us, talk about the good old pro wrestling. We talked about TNA and New Japan today. And yeah, if you like our content, hit that like button. But there's one more thing I need you to do. I need you to climb up that top rope again because you had two elbow pads and you already threw one. I need you to toss that other one. And if you're not subscribed, drop that elbow on that subscribe button because it for sure helps us out. If you like the video, tap the like button and comment if you if you watched any of these shows and you know um have a different opinion than we do, or just want to strike up some conversation about the show. For sure, comment and we will for sure get back to you. So yeah, thank you guys, and we're out.
Peace.